Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right. And by the way, thank you for the feedback we continue to get from having interviewed Barry Goldwater Jr. That's right, of Goldwater Institute. And also, too, is he's a member of Eliances, so you may see him at one of our many experiences. You can go to Eliances.com to check out some of the past interviews. Well, I got to tell you, school's in session now. What do I mean? We have Jay Heiler. He is the founder and president of the Board for Great Hearts Academies. And you can reach him at greatheartsaz.org, or of course, we'll have it on our website at Eliances.com, Eliances.com. Jay, I got to tell you, Great Hearts has such a phenomenal reputation in Arizona. How did you just establish it to be such a well-known school for and impacting so many children?
Well, as you know from your career as an entrepreneur, David, it always helps to know what you're trying to do. And we knew that we wanted to create the highest value educational model that we could for families and kids in Arizona. And we wanted to compete not only with existing public schools, but with private schools. And we wanted to try to give the best education available anywhere in a tuition-free environment.
And how do you explain to the public of the difference between charter school and your school and public school? Because it used to be the way, at least in Arizona and probably many other places, is you go to the school that's the closest to where you live.
Well, it's a long process, and it's only begun to sink in, I think, to people what the distinctions are between public district schools and public charter schools. In a nutshell, the distinction is that one is operated by a subdivision of the state and a unit of government, a school district. Another is operated by a private enterprise or a private entity, in Great Heart's case, a not-for-profit entity that receives a charter from the state after a rigorous review and ongoing review across time to educate the kids of Arizona, and then the state funds those charter schools based upon their enrollment.
What motivated you, though, to start it?
Well, I had been chief of staff to the governor and directing policy in the governor's office back in the 90s when we passed the charter school law. And back then, the idea was that we would have 1,000 flowers blooming, and there would be this multitude of different school models, and everyone would be able to find the ideal fit for their child. And that's a good thought, because we do have to find schools that fit children, but that isn't really how markets work. And so my instinct from the beginning was the way to really use the charter school law was to create a scalable model that could be replicated and grown and educate large numbers of students in a particularized model that would come to be known by the public as something that was really worth having. And so that's where the idea came from. And about 19 years ago, we got it rolling, and we started with 130 kids in a leased church building at 21st Street in Lincoln, and we're now 19,000 kids. We probably own close to $300 million worth of real estate that we've had to develop and invest in and finance across all this time as we have grown. And Great Hearts today is really one of the more significant not-for-profit, non-profit organizations to develop really any place, and especially in Arizona.
Now, your background, you're a lawyer, journalist, and political analyst. And we're going to find out more about these and how it ties into what he's doing now, because why? Well, you're listening to me, David Kogan, celebrity host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. In fact, you need to go there after this interview, because it is the only place where entrepreneurs align. Because we have with us Jay Heiler, founder and president of the Board for Great Hearts Academies. Go to greatheartsaz.org. So, going back to this, you're a lawyer, journalist, you've been political analyst. I mean, and you've been so successful at each one of those. What is the magic of making all of that happen, and how are you utilizing that background with what you're doing now?
Well, I guess it's just the grace of God more than anything else. I don't know really what makes some of us successful and others less successful. I think you just have to work hard. You have to always, as I said, know what you're trying to do, and you have to form relationships with people. The other co-founders of Great Hearts and I all shared a common vision for creating a growth organization in an entrepreneurial way, but in social entrepreneurialism rather than financial. We created this for the community. And our mission was to bring the classical liberal arts model of education to Arizona first, and then other places beyond, which we've now begun doing as well, because we believed it was the best. It was the highest and best way to educate human beings and to form young men and young women.
Talk to us about the different parts, too, of the Great Hearts model, really that build the students and help educate them.
Well, the model involves smaller classes, very, very carefully selected and cultivated faculty, delivering and interacting with the students around the great books and the classics of Western civilization. And so this really was predominantly the model of American education through much of its brighter days. And then it was gradually discarded across time. And so all we really did was say, well, that really shouldn't have been discarded. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to manifest it anew for the late 20th and now the 21st century. And so what you would see in our schools is a very, very purposeful culture of learning, where the students wear uniforms, they all mutually commit to an honor code, and there is a culture of interaction with one another and with the faculty members in which every person matters. Every idea is to be entertained respectfully. People of varying backgrounds can come together in a public institution and pursue knowledge and pursue formation as people together. That's our ethos of education, and we design a curriculum and a pedagogy, a teaching style to support that.
What's next do you see happening with Great Hearts?
Well, we're going to go on growing here in Texas, in other states. So long as the demand persists for what we do, we will try to meet that demand. And so long as we have the resources to meet it, which has been a constant challenge for Great Hearts from the beginning, which we've had to overcome. And we also imagine ourselves serving the community in other ways besides bricks and mortar charter schools, in terms of supporting homeschooling families, in terms of taking this same body of ideas around classicism and classical liberal arts into other pursuits. We may pursue preschools in the not too distant future, and we may pursue various kinds of adult educational opportunities. We will probably at some point emerge as an online educational provider, bringing a classical liberal arts model into that medium of education, which is becoming more and more important in the modern world.
Well, Jay, I'm going to ask you a very critical question here, and this is maybe with our time less than a minute left, but I know that this is what a lot of students want to know and a lot of parents want to know. What's the secret to getting A's in school?
Well, there are a lot of secrets to that. Diligence is primarily the secret. Asking questions if there's something you don't understand, forming a relationship with your teacher, forming relationships with other students who have similar ambitions to do well. So like most things in life, it comes down mainly to relationships. But I wouldn't, if I were talking to a student, urge them to get too wrapped around the axle about whether they get A's. The important thing is to do your best and keep trying to get better at whatever it is you're doing. And while you're a student, that involves school. And then if you do that, when school ends, you'll be able to carry that forward into whatever you end up doing next.
Fantastic. Well, that's right. Do your best. Well, I got to tell you, Jay, you make a difference for education. You fight for the rights of many in your law practice. That's a hero. Jay Heiler, founder and president of the board for Great Hearts Academies. You can reach him at greatheartsaz.org. This has been David Kogan with Eliances.